Gang, in studio, we have fresh from his new marriage, the least eligible not bachelor in Fargo, Mr. Kyle Reedstrom of Hatch Realty. Good morning, Kyle. How you living?
I'm living happily married. Life's good. It's been about 2 weeks, and I was telling JJ I put together a bookshelf 2 days ago. So
was it an IKEA bookshelf?
It was something of the sort. She said it was one step ahead of that. Which,
okay,
of course.
So it was an upgrade of particle board.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. That does sound nice.
It had kind of a fancy slant to it. I mean, it was a hip bookshelf.
And how long did it take you to put together that bookshelf?
I refrain to answer that.
Okay.
I only had a small little what do they call those little
an Allen wrench.
Yeah, an Allen wrench. There it is.
Oh my gosh, why they haven't made a drill bit for an Allen wrench is beyond me. I don't know why that isn't the case. And somebody's going to tell me why the case is, and it's probably because it's going to strip it and it's not meant to be super strong. But yeah. Hand cramp time for those.
That's right. But it's not actually holding books, it's holding pictures and things. So that was kind of an ironic situation.
So when you figure your dollar per hour, Kyle, of what you usually make, and then it goes into the bookshelf, did that bookshelf cost you over or under $500?
I'm just learning not to think logically on these marriage requests, That's just what
You're smarter than you look.
I'm on a heater right now. I just came off the marriage. So
so you got married a couple of weeks ago, and Kyle, for those that haven't heard you before or don't know who you are, walk us through walk us through life before Hatch Realty and how long you've been with us now, and what do you do?
All right, so ended up from South Dakota, ended up coming up to good old Fargo for my engineering degree, and as I tell most people that I'm meeting with or they're interested in buying a house, I like to get into the backstory. I say, yeah, my life was pretty stable, pretty consistent, pretty predictable until I met Erik Hatch, and then everything went crazy. So, no, I was really curious about real estate, ended up tugging on your sleeve, and then we partnered up in 2015. I joined up.
About 3.5 years now you've been with us.
Yes, which is 3.5 years.
And Kyle, you work primarily with buyers. You're growing into working with sellers too, and you run a team within our team. What does that look like?
So we realized that we could more minds at the table could accomplish more. Three is better than one, and so I've been partnered with my business partners Cole Whitrock and Lucas Gunkelman, and we really kind of do the on-call real estate system. We always are trying to be available. We're always trying to be responsive. We've realized the pain point of having one person be your go-to, and that person's schedule might be variable. So for us, we want to be available and provide service to our clients kind of on an on-call basis. So
what you're covering is a really big issue, Kyle. The biggest complaint that people have about their realtor is always communication. Right? I always thought it was that they didn't look like their headshot on their business card, which is actually fairly accurate. I've gone through many receding hairline pictures and exceeding waistline pictures, and you get to see what my old trading cards look like. But the biggest complaint that people have is communication. Isn't 3 instead of 1 more complicated for the consumer?
You got to think of it. I use the medical analogy a lot, right? In the medical field, you don't ever have a time where you can have everybody's off, right? So when it comes to service and things, we've realized we live in the Midwest where people will give you a lot of grace. We'll give you a long leash until somebody gets really, disgruntled about the service. So what we've just decided to do is take the extra time. We do a series of meetings throughout the week, coordinate our schedules, so someone is always available for that house that hits the market, and we can't wait. We want to be the first one opening the door because then we can make the decisions and we're not subject to multiple offers. And I'm sure people listening have gone through the pain of seeing the house that they want and they lost it because there's 2 other offers in already. Well, we want to be the first ones at the table, so we at least have the at-bat. And that's been really helpful for specific criteria when the summer kicks up or spring and summer kick up. We've got to be on the ball. And, stuff happens with family. Stuff happens with friends, stuff happens with personal lives, and we've got to understand that if I have God forbid, a funeral that I have to be at for 4 days, my clients all take a back seat for 4 days. Well, we've kind of figured out that system so we can just have kind of a consistent service.
I think the most tremendous example is actually your wedding. You got married out in California. out in wine country. So a rough couple of weeks for you,
Yeah.
and then you honeymoon down in San Diego for a week. You were literally off the grid doing the most important thing you should do, and that is committing your life to your wife, Haley, right? And how many houses did you sell when you were in California?
So there was the week I got married, my partner Lucas was managing some clients and helped them get into two clients got into houses the week I was getting married.
So they looked at those houses, they negotiated on those offers, they had to deal with all the back and forth. You're probably talking, boy, each client in that moment is 5 to 10 hours of time, right? How much time did you invest in that?
Well, I had the initial meetings. We've kept in constant correspondence because obviously everything can be done with a Wi-Fi connection or a cell phone signal.
Right.
And so giving that front of face service with text messages, calls, emails is an easy thing for both Lucas and I to do. But when it comes to the face to face, getting into the physical properties, that's where we need a body. You need a body, and so it's been fun to help clients and not have a ball drop with the service because Lucas and I are in constant communication. Lucas's style and my style over the course of 2 years is melded into the same.
Right.
So the level of service, as long as we were confident in the level of service not dropping off, these clients see the benefit and it makes a ton of sense. And they've gotten into the houses they needed to. They didn't have to take a 2-week break from the houses because Kyle's getting married. And you know what? They would have said, go get married. We won't bother you.
Yeah, they would have been happy for you. And then there would have been this little chip on their shoulder, right?
Yeah, just like I would give some,
Absolutely. And you and Cole and Lucas, as well as the rest of the people at Hatch Realty, we've devised a way in which service matters the most. At the top of everything that we do, it's all about serving our clients, right?
Yeah, and that's the only way we keep our business running strong. So people need to know that the reason that we've designed that is because we want to help them the most. And it's interesting to have the conversation initially with people. 60 days after closing, it makes all the sense in the world because you get the whole picture.
Right.
But at the initial consult, when I'm meeting face to face with someone, or Lucas and I, or Lucas is meeting with someone and explaining our strategy, sometimes it involves me helping someone into a house that maybe I haven't walked through yet. Or maybe Lucas has walked through, or maybe I've walked through it and Lucas hasn't, and we're talking about a house that we haven't seen, right? We think that it has to be so tangible, but with our knowledge and the experience that we've got and the number of houses we've been through, we're able to communicate at a high level and understand the situations that need to be understood and then help that client fill their goal of getting that house.
Kyle, you're a millennial, right? You're 29 years old.
Yep.
People of the millennial generation, and under that is Gen Zers, and then we have on top of that Gen Xers and then Boomers, and so you kind of see the whole spectrum. Millennials want immediacy. That's the changing trend. Is you are of the microwave oven generation, you are of the Uber generation, you are of the Netflix generation, and you want things. You don't even know what dial-up connection is on the internet. You never had to deal with it, right? Your generation has experienced different things than my generation. I'm about 10 years older than you. That my generation has experienced. And speed matters. And in fact, the speed that millennials are bringing now, Kyle, are actually impacting people in Gen X and people as boomers. It's changing the tone for them. Speed matters a lot, and the model that you have developed and the model that we've developed at Hatch Realty has brought speed to the table. Give me an example, Kyle, of how speed has mattered with one of your clients. Maybe a house that hit the market right away and you were able to jump on it before somebody else competed with it. Like, how has speed changed the game for you?
So what I've got a great example. I won't name the clients, but we've had certain clients that have a very specific criteria for a home. I actually enjoy that process of whittling down to really know what the home is. They already know what they're looking for, and once we can start to adopt and understand what they're looking for, maybe even better than they are, we can start to get houses that aren't even on the market yet.
Sure. And
so for us, we went through 3 different times where we found a house, it was the right one, offered, couldn't compete.
Yeah, and you're talking competing offers that are going $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 over the asking price.
We're asking out of our budget, and that's where we become the brakes a lot of times in saying, we want to stick with the numbers that fit, that help you sleep well at night. So
Logic before emotion, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where we can come in and remind you of your initial goals, especially financially. So in this situation, we were able to understand the needs to the point of we could search the off-market properties. And maybe some people know, but we have a number of pocket listings at Hatch, people that are waiting to get on the market, but maybe they aren't on the internet or on the market yet.
Right.
And so we were able to show those properties the minute that we had them in our pocket at Hatch Realty. We were able to get them in there, understand it with the patience of saying, hey, there's not someone knocking on the door right now. We don't have another offer that we're competing with already. We can make a decision to offer, and then we were able to find them an off-market property, which is, I think that's the most proactive thing we can do in the real estate world, is understand the needs to a level where we can find properties that they don't even know about yet.
And the seller has a choice in that too, right? If they're the ones who own the house, they have the choice to say, do I want a sure thing, or do I want to gamble and see if I can get more money, right?
Absolutely.
And boy, some people and most people we find take the sure thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's a choice that they make. We brought an offer that was attractive to them, and that was the cool part. It was a lot more peaceful transaction than the 3 offers before, where we rode the emotional roller coaster of hearing back and fighting for it. So
Kyle, as we wrap up here, we of course have our sister company Hatch Coaching doing some great things in town, and we saw something special in you, in what you've developed, and you've developed a system of a way in which that you procure business from people you already know, referral groups, and connecting with folks, and just making sure that you have a system and a strategy to continue to grow your business. And it's not about real estate; it's about anybody who is in a sales business, right? And so, what did you develop? Because I think it's a special offering for folks if they're wanting to one-up their game.
Yeah, so when I came, as I mentioned, the background, I came out from engineering into a sales role at Hatch Realty. And that left me looking and saying, I had a lot of excuses with the fact that, hey, I haven't lived in this community. I haven't done sales before. I don't have a pipeline or a database. So, I mean, and I could rest on those excuses and say, this is why my business isn't functioning. Or what the route that I wanted to go was, hey, how can I systematically approach the creation of a stable, consistent business that I can lean on as a career? And so through doing that, and from 2015 and on, kind of getting my wheels turned on that, I created kind of a priority strategies type of system where we kind of break it down, reverse engineer it all the way back to what do we need to do today to accomplish our goals in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, because the basis of everything that's happening in our lives in the future is the habits of today. And so that kind of seems abstract, but when we were able to put together a training with the people at Hatch Coaching, big shout out to all of the camera time and the takes that I had to do in the blooper reels.
The blooper reel is my favorite. and so Kyle, people can get these trainings and these videos. This is at a really low cost too, folks. If you go to hatchcoaching.com, you'll see all the information as well as some other classes we've done. Kyle is a superstar in this community and in our world, and we're so honored to have your gift. So thanks for all you do, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun.
All right, folks, head to livefargomoorhead.com at the break. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.